Cops publicly arrest black woman. Shocked to discover she's an off-duty Captain Asterisk, what happened next will restore your faith in justice and change how you see everyday heroes. Don't scroll away. This story will give you chills. Asterisk, the afternoon sun beat down mercilessly on Riverside Mall's parking lot as Captain Denise Washington loaded groceries into her Honda Civic. Still in civilian clothes, a simple blue sundress and sneakers, she looked like any other mother finishing her weekend shopping. At 42, Denise had spent 18 years climbing the ranks of the Metropolitan Police Department. She'd earned her captain's badge through grit, excellence, and an unwavering commitment to justice. But right now, she was just a woman trying to get milk and bread home before they spoiled in the heat. That's when she heard the commotion. "Get on the ground. Now." Across the parking lot, two officers had their weapons drawn on a teenage boy who couldn't have been older than 16. Marcus, a lanky kid in a basketball jersey, had his hands raised high, his face a mask of terror. "I didn't do anything." Marcus's voice cracked. "I was just walking to my mom's car." Officer Bradley Mills, a 5-year veteran with a reputation for aggression, pressed closer. "We got a call about someone matching your description breaking into vehicles. Turn around and put your hands behind your back." "What description?" "Marcus-scription," Marcus pleaded. "Young and black? That's not a description." Denise's blood went cold. She recognized the signs. She'd seen this scenario play out too many times. The boy was clearly innocent, scared, and about to become another statistic if someone didn't intervene. Without hesitation, she strode across the parking lot, her captain's training taking over. "Officers, what's the situation here?" she called out, her voice carrying the natural authority of someone accustomed to command. Officer Mills whipped around, his partner, Officer Janet Cruz, keeping her weapon trained on Marcus. "Ma'am, step back. This is police business," Mills barked. "I can see that," Denise replied calmly, positioning herself where she could see both the officers and the boy. "But I'm also seeing a young man who appears to be cooperating. What probable cause do you have for this arrest?" "Listen, lady," Mills's voice rose dangerously, "you need to move along before you become part of the problem." A crowd was gathering now. Phones came out, cameras rolling. Someone whispered, "This is about to go viral. Subscribe to see how this unfolds. You won't believe what happens next." "I'm not moving anywhere," Denise said firmly. "This boy has rights, and I'm witnessing what appears to be. That's it." Mills exploded. "You're under arrest for interfering with a police investigation." Before Denise could react, Officer Cruz had holstered her weapon and was reaching for handcuffs. "Ma'am, turn around and place your hands behind your back." The crowd gasped. Phones captured every second as Denise was spun around and cuffed, her groceries scattered across the asphalt. "This is a mistake," she said, her voice steady despite the humiliation. "Officers, I strongly suggest you save it for the judge." Mills sneered, clearly enjoying the power trip. "Maybe next time you'll think twice about interfering with real police work." Marcus watched in horror as the woman who tried to help him was now facing the same treatment. "She was just trying to help," he cried out. "Both of you, shut up," Mills commanded. That's when Sergeant Rodriguez arrived on scene, drawn by the crowd and the radio chatter. As a 20-year veteran, he immediately sensed something was off. "Mills, Cruz, what's the situation?" he asked, approaching the scene with the caution of experience. "Routine arrest, Sarge," Mills replied cockily. "Got a suspect and an interfering citizen. Just cleaning up the neighborhood." Rodriguez studied the handcuffed woman more closely. Something about her bearing, the way she held herself despite being restrained, seemed familiar. "What's your name, man?" he asked quietly. Denise met his eyes steadily. "Captain Denise Washington, badge number 4-7-7-9, Metropolitan Police Department, East District." The parking lot fell silent except for the sound of phone cameras still recording. Rodriguez's face went white. "Jesus Christ," he whispered, then louder, "Mills, Cruz, remove those handcuffs now." "Sarge, she's just some woman trying to. She's a captain." Rodriguez exploded. "Captain Washington, you idiots. Unlock those cuffs right now before this becomes the biggest embarrassment in department history. Don't stop reading. The best part is coming. Officer Cruz's hand shook as she fumbled with the keys. Mills stood frozen, his face cycling through confusion, recognition, and finally, pure terror. As the handcuffs clicked open, Denise rubbed her wrists and turned to face the two officers who just made the biggest mistake of their careers. "Gentlemen," she said, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had earned her respect throughout the department, "we need to talk." The crowd pressed closer, sensing the dramatic shift. Marcus, still shaken but no longer in immediate danger, watched in amazement. "Captain, we didn't. You weren't in uniform." Mills stammered. "And that matters how, exactly?" Denise's voice could have cut glass. "Does my rank determine whether I deserve to be treated with basic human dignity? Does this young man's skin color determine whether he deserves probable cause before being held at gunpoint?" She gestured toward Marcus, who was still standing with his hands partially raised, afraid to move. "Ma'am, Captain, we got a call." Mills tried again. "About what, specifically? What was the exact description given in that call?" The silence stretched on as Mills realized he couldn't answer without exposing the racial profiling that had led to this moment. Rodriguez stepped in, his voice heavy with disappointment. "Mills, Cruz, return to your vehicle." "Captain Washington, I deeply apologize to me," Denise interrupted, walking over to Marcus. "Apologize to me," Denise interrupted, walking over to Marcus. "Apologize to him." This young man was terrorized, held at gunpoint, and treated like a criminal for the crime of existing while black in public. She placed a gentle hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Are you okay, son?" Marcus nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for standing up for me." Hit that subscribe button. This story gets even more powerful. Denise turned back to the officers, her voice carrying across the now silent parking lot. "This is exactly why communities don't trust police. This is why parents have to have the talk with their children about how to survive encounters with officers. This young man did nothing wrong, but because of his race, he was treated as a threat." The phones kept recording as she continued, her words measured but passionate. "I've dedicated my life to law enforcement because I believe in justice. But justice isn't just about catching criminals, it's about protecting the innocent. It's about treating every citizen with dignity and respect, regardless of their race, their clothing, or their neighborhood." She looked directly into the camera of the nearest phone. "To everyone watching this is not an isolated incident. This happens every day to people who don't have a badge to protect them. This young man could have been your son, your brother, your friend. He deserves better. We all deserve better." Officer Mills, his career flashing before his eyes, made one last desperate attempt at damage control. "Captain, maybe we could discuss this back at the station, handle this internally." "Internally? Internally?" Denise's eyebrows shot up. "Officer Mills, there are 50 witnesses here and dozens of cameras. This is public as it gets. And frankly, that's exactly how it should be." She turned to address the crowd directly. "I want everyone here to remember something. My badge didn't make what happened to me wrong. It was already wrong. The only difference is that my rank means there will be consequences." The crowd erupted in applause. Someone shouted, "That's right, Captain." Rodriguez, trying to salvage the situation, approached Marcus. "Son, I want to personally apologize for how you were treated today. This does not represent the values of our department." Marcus, finding his voice, looked between the sergeant and the captain who'd risked her own safety for his. "I just want to go home to my mom," he said quietly. Denise smiled at him. "You should. And Marcus, you did everything right today. You stayed calm, you cooperated, and you kept your dignity. Your mother should be proud." As the crowd began to disperse, phones still capturing every moment, Denise retrieved her scattered groceries with the help of several witnesses who'd stayed to ensure her safety. Officer Mills and Cruz sat in their patrol car, their careers effectively over, waiting for internal affairs to inevitably call. Make sure to subscribe for more stories like this that will change how you see the world. Later that evening, the video had already gone viral. Hashtag Captain Washington was trending on every platform, with millions sharing the footage of a police captain who'd risked her career to protect a stranger's rights. But for Denise, sitting at her kitchen table helping her own teenage daughter with homework, the real victory wasn't the viral fame or the departmental reforms that would inevitably follow. It was the text message she'd received from an unknown number just an hour earlier. Asterisk, Captain Washington, this is Marcus. My mom wanted me to thank you again. She says you're what police officers should be. Maybe I want to be a cop someday too, like you. Thank you for showing me that good people can change things. Asterisk, as she read the message again, Denise smiled. Tomorrow she'd go back to work, face the inevitable media attention, and continue fighting for the changes the department desperately needed. But tonight, she'd sleep knowing that one young man still believed in justice. And sometimes, that's how change begins. One person, one moment, one choice to do what's right, even when cameras are rolling and the whole world is watching. The ND. If this story moved you, subscribe and share to support more content that highlights real heroes standing up for justice. Your support helps spread stories that matter. Asterisk, 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 real change happens when ordinary people make extraordinary choices. Which choice will you make? Asterisk. Asterisk, this story is a work of fiction but reflects real situations faced by communities every day. Share this to spark conversations about justice, dignity, and the courage to stand up for what's right. Asterisk.